Hey everyone, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene and I am with A Room to Bloom. So the other day I was looking out the window and there was this absolutely beautiful maple tree. And if you do not know maple trees, when the fall comes, the leaves turn very vibrant, like bright orangish red. Okay. And it was just so beautiful. And it really, in the sea of all of the trees that I was looking at, it just really stuck out, even though it was not this huge tree. It was the color, right? And so that also is what's coming to me right now is think about when you are with a group of people or whatever, right? Someone does not need to be the biggest or to take up the most space, if you will, to stick out or to be the brightest in the room. And I say brightest, but it was unique in amongst all of the other trees, right? It was beautiful amongst all the other trees. And what had come to me that day, and again today, is still this message of be a maple tree in a sea of acorn trees, right? Not saying that one is better than the other, but there is a difference. They both have different qualities, if you will. But the one thing about the maple tree is that it is well known that you can get syrup from the maple tree. It is like being sweet, is the idea, right? Being sweet. From the acorn tree, there are many nuts that are produced, right? And so the idea of looking at this maple tree. Now imagine that you are out and about and each tree represented a person, right? And so everyone kind of seems like the same, or maybe like a lot of the acorn trees, if you will. But then fall comes. Like, look at all these trees. I mean, you really have to hone in to look at which one, you have to get close to see what's different. So from a distance, they all look not quite the same, but pretty close, right? But you have to get closer. And then you might be able to see like a difference, and you're like, oh, but there might be a few that still kind of look a little bit closer, and you have to get closer yet. But when the fall comes, and there are different things happening with the temperature and the sun and different things, and the colors of the leaves are changing, one would not have to be close up in order to see the differences, because there is like an identifying marker. Oh, I have goosebumps. There is like an identifying marker. Okay. And so if all these trees for the great portion were between little bit of green, maybe more yellow leaves, some a little orange, but then like this maple, it's like say it's bright red. And you knew which trees were which colors in the fall, right? Right away, you might say, oh, that's it. That's the maple leaf. And so again, being in a crowd of people, you might, especially like if you had a great idea of like these people, let's say it's a family gathering, right? And you know who you are magnetized towards and why, right? Why are you magnetized towards a certain person or someone in your family line, if you will, right? Is it because they are sweet? They are kind to you. They're beautiful. And I don't, even though yes, the tree is different, and I'm speaking from two perspectives. One, the visual with our visual eyes, yes, but more on a soul essence. Are they beautiful spiritually speaking, or from a soul essence, from their essence? Do they have a beautiful soul? And why? Because it's sweet, and you know that they have tapped in to this sweetness, and not only did they tap into it, but they embody it, right? And so it's just this idea of being that. Now, some people might say, no, I'd rather be this type of a tree for these attributes that it carries. Now, here's the thing. I do not have all of the attributes of all of the trees, but that would be a fun thing. I actually do have a deck of cards. It's actually fun. I wish I would have had that out. And maybe what I will do, try to remember at the end of this, is to pause it and find it. Actually, maybe I'll do that right now. One moment, I'll be back. All right, so I am back, but what happened is I have them put away somewhere that isn't really handy. So rather than get too distracted here, in my searching, I found a deck called Past Life, which what came to me is about like the family tree, right? And so I feel that this is a deck that I would like to start with here, with this idea of being sweet. If we're talking about our family tree, who in your life do you feel, even if it's not the family, for instance, who do you feel that is that person who carries that sweet essence, who when you are with a group of people, you are more magnetized towards this person? And considering why, what is the reasoning, right? Just really considering that, and also letting them know that you appreciate them. Okay. Before I get started, I'm being guided to take one of these. These are just positive messages. Let's see what comes through here. The first one is, every day you decide who you want to be. How interesting, right? So you can decide to be the maple tree. The essence of the maple tree, be sweet, right? If yesterday you were carrying the essence of another kind of tree, say I'm not sure which one has the hardest wood, to be honest with you. I just don't remember. But hardened, if you will. There are other ones like pine trees that might be both sticky and or kind of depending upon the needles, like a pine tree, right? It could be, it gives off a beautiful scent, and yet, and there's different shades of the color of green, right? So every day, though, you decide who you want to be, and multiple times a day, we decide who we want to be. But oftentimes it starts with our thoughts. How do we wake up? We can choose to think the positive thoughts, choose to lean into positive energy. We also dress for the day. Especially like sometimes we might dress for work if we think that that's all we're doing. But sometimes, say it's a Friday and you're like, okay, I'm dressing for work because after work I'm going out to here. So you might dress for two occasions in one thing, right? So you're choosing who you want to be. It's putting on the hat of that moment, or some people might say the mask of that moment. But that is more of the physical aspect, but we can choose who we want to be at a soul, right? At our essence, at our core. So we can choose to what we might consider self-correct, right? Or to become our highest and best version of self. So with this being said, this is so interesting that the past life now oracle cards that I have here are coming up. Okay, so what messages do you want to bring through for the collective? Okay, we have love life. So there is something with a past life love that could be affecting your love life, okay? And it's funny because I almost use the example of like a rose. You know, the rose bush has the thorns, right? So one day one may feel, we know that the thorns are there to protect the rose, right? So just if you're rose, what side of the rose are you stepping into in any particular moment? The next one is saying trust and have faith at this time in your life. I'll go ahead and I will use the book. I haven't used these cards in a really long time. The next one is Asia. Okay, so something with Asia coming up. We have mother energy. So two children, what is in this image, a boy and a girl. The boy is a little older than the girl. And then we have phobias. Okay, so if you have any phobias, it's interesting. Her hair is like about my color, about my length, and it has about the same curls in it. Anyway, so let's see what we have here. I'm going to just go ahead and read this one. First, we'll start with the love life. This card comes to you as an indication that your love life is affected by one or more previous lifetimes. Most likely you had a painful experience back then that caused you to be overly cautious. In such cases, working on yourself can help you reopen your beautiful, loving heart. In that way, you can love and be loved again. Okay, it also, I'm going to read this. It's also likely that a card comes to you as validation that a man or a woman you're romantically interested in was also a prominent person in your past life. You ever have that soul recognition? Okay, we're just going to go to trust and have faith. It says the question that you are asking today is connected to the levels of trust and faith that you have. These two qualities affect the amount of fulfillment, peace, and joy you experience. And if you find that you don't trust yourself, others, or even life itself, the reason may be rooted in your prior lifetimes. This card may also indicate a past lifetime where you were betrayed by a specific person or who is in your current life. Oh, you were betrayed by a specific person who is in your current life. This is also true with respect to the amount of faith that you have in the universe. In the universe or God. Look at the other cards that you drew surrounding this one for clues as to which lives may have shattered or boosted your faith or trust. So we'll continue on here. Let's go to Asia. Okay. A significant past life in Asia is influencing your current situation. You learned group harmony and the sacrificing of individuality in the Asian culture. But the lessons of that lifetime need to be balanced with your current life's culture. I have goosebumps on the left side of my body. For instance, you may have been in the habit of suppressing your emotions and opinions in that lifetime. However, in this lifetime, it is essential that you be aware of your inner truth. You're also being guided to express your beliefs and your feelings openly with your loved ones in order to deepen your relationships. Your fascination with the Asian culture stems from your love and respect for the people that you met in that lifetime. Consider taking trips to Eastern lands to reconnect with your ancient self and to learn more about your soul's previous journey. One thing that I'd like to say, yeah, I have goosebumps now again, is that there is a yellow sash here, yellow gold, but it's about the sacral chakra, standing in your power, right? So there could have been a point where you didn't feel like you could express yourself, but now this is where you're being guided to do so, okay? Under mother, we have this card indicates that your mother in this life was also with you in other lifetimes. Oh, wrong one, pardon me. was with you in other lifetimes. This is actually a very common occurrence. The mother-child relationship is significant. Okay, is significant is a significant emotional and physical bond. If you enjoy a healthy and loving relationship with your mother in this lifetime, you were probably drawn together again because of your fondness for one another. However, if your relationship has been challenging, this indicates a need to balance the karma through your forgiveness. Okay? So you could look at those trees and go, yeah, my mother was like the maple tree. My mom was super sweet, right? Somebody that I have a current relationship with, I see as being incredibly sweet, right? And I have faith that we had a relationship of some sort in the past, right? Okay, then let's go to the phobias, because I always find this one interesting, because when people have past life regressions, right, oftentimes they can tap into where are these phobias coming from, and once they learn about it, then they can start to let go that it's like, yeah, this isn't from this lifetime, it's coming up from another one. Okay, let's see. The card comes to you compassionately to help you to connect the dots between current life phobias and past lifetimes. Often consciously remembering the past life source of your anxieties is enough to release their grip on you, right? So once you know about it consciously, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, now that adds up, and you can let go of it, right? Okay, sorry. Okay, and so you can let go of it. The situation you're inquiring about has its basis in underlying fears or phobias. These fears are energy blocks which are slowing or prohibiting the results that you desire. Phobias have to do with the impulse to have a complete mastery over situations that are out of your control. They also bring up many trust issues. Your higher self and unconscious mind know the original source of any phobias you may have manifested. You can unearth the origins of these phobias through a past life regression or even through dream work. For example, if you're falling asleep, ask your higher self to give you information that you'll remember upon waking that's related to the phobia. By directly confronting your underlying fears, you can lessen their hold on your unconsciousness. It is all about awareness, right? So being open to that awareness. Okay, whew, have goosebumps. Okay, I do have a tarot deck. I was thinking I did not, but I do. So let's just go ahead and use this. I want to tap into this with the love life. Let's see if we can get any information for you that might give you an idea of who, oops, this is about. Okay. All right. I dropped this whole pile, and this is the one that's on top. And there's a message for it because of something I experienced yesterday. It just simply is in the energy. And it speaks about a queen of summer. This is the Queen of Cups. Okay, someone who's very caring, nurturing, a white swan with a crown on it. Okay. It says, this is the time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful you don't ignore your own needs while caring for others. Because when you are that queen of summer, it's kind of like that mother energy, that nurturing energy, right? And you know, of course, you take care of your loved ones, spouse, partner, whatever that is too, but also like in that mother role. So yesterday I was driving somewhere, and it was so beautiful. I had to, it came up rather quickly, and then so I took a picture on the way back, and it was a field full of white swans, and I've also been passing a pond with a lot of white swans on it also. And I had another experience with a picture that just came up too with white swans. So that is coming, speaks about someone who is compassionate, loving, caring, and psychic as well. Okay, so we're going to keep shuffling here and see what else comes up. Under trust and faith, you guys, this is regarding a partnership. Here we have the 10 of summer. This is a happy family. It's not just a partnership. This is the 10 of cups, right? Shows the prairie dog having faith in this situation with a rainbow over it. It is time to express your love and appreciation for family, be it relatives or chosen family of close friends. Congratulations may be in order on a happy, fulfilling marriage, as well as raising family and having balanced children, right? Having trust and faith in this situation. Okay, what else do we have here under Asia? We have the Ace of Spring. This is like a new beginning with creativity, okay? The White Tiger is being shown here. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action and passionately pursue every possibility. So you may have been doing something with creativity in Asia, right? As well. Or the idea may come to go to Asia and see what is coming up creatively speaking. Under the Mother, we have the 9 of Summer card, and we have a Pomeranian puppy, right? And so the 9 of Summer is someone who is able to enjoy the fruits of their labor, right? Now is the time, or wishes fulfilled, when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that is still yet to come, right? So fun card. Okay, so your wishes are being fulfilled. Okay, under phobias, we have the 5 of Summer. Now the 5 of Summer is the 5 of Cups energy. It is the dragonfly energy. We have a yellow flower on here. Yellow represents our sacral chakra, so our power center, right? It says focus on the fact that God loves you and always has the highest of intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties, right? So instead of having phobias and letting them run your life, it's like staying focused on the divine. It's easier to recover from those little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward, right? So if you really are struggling with this type of thing, which is interesting because this card is in what's called the blockage position, right? And so you could have phobias that have been blocking some things for you. So it's like, okay, I'm going to release this and give it up, right? Let go and let God is the idea. The dragonfly speaks of the spiritual journey, standing in your power. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Prince of Autumn. This is the Prince of Pentacles, or the Knight of Pentacles. Someone coming in with a slower moving energy, bringing an offer of something that is represented to the earth. Whether that is a gift of some sort, right? It's important to make a detailed plan before starting any endeavor. And once you have that plan in place, then you can take immediate action and get as much accomplished as possible, right? But the Prince of Autumn is someone who's been kind of working to build something trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny, right? Under that, yeah, this says to me they want to have that, that happy family. This is like family wealth. Golden retriever dog with 10 puppies here. Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It is important to honor traditions and have pride in your heritage and accomplishments of your ancestors. Okay? And that comes with the situation after a 5 of Autumn, a manatee. And what this speaks about is focusing upon the negative. So if you were focusing upon the negative in the past, this is saying you're moving past that situation. Because of your trust and faith, they were at a low point. It wasn't the best time to start your business or to become self-employed. But it's saying, no, there are no worries here. We have these finances available. And there is still someone who is moving forward with positive, healthy intentions, right? Okay. All right, and I'd like to take a card from the Everyday Peace deck by Thich Nhat Hanh. Let's see what comes up here. Kind of interesting that Asia card comes up, and I chose this deck. When I was looking for that other deck, I ran across it, and so I chose this to bring a message through. Let's see what comes up that would be helpful for the collective today. Okay. Life is accessible right now. Life, with all of its wonders, is accessible right now. So we train in coming back to the present moment. When you are sitting on your meditation cushion, you are established in the present moment. At that moment, you touch life deeply. During walking meditation, you do the same thing. Each step brings you back to your true home, the home of your spiritual ancestors, the present moment. In this present moment, that life, peace, joy, happiness, and well-being are possible. Okay, and then that's that one. So then the other side of it says the pleasures of practice. Meditation practice should be enjoyable and pleasant. The elements called joy and pleasure, mudita and priti in Sanskrit, are a very important part of meditation. If you are suffering during meditation, your practice is not correct. Practice should be enjoyable and pleasant. It should be full of joy. Okay, so that's why they call it a practice, right? So if you're feeling unsettled, the more that you do it, the more you'll start to make the space for it, the more your mind will clear out of the busyness so that you can settle into that, right? It's actually kind of interesting. I was watching something on TV last night, and it was a scene about a writer who was having a hard time writing his second book. And so his girlfriend was trying to recreate his normal writing place where he wrote his first book, but he wasn't settling in, right? It was kind of that same idea of meditation. And so he's like, he finally decided to try a few things, and then he found something that worked for him at that time, right? At that time. Because what worked for you at one point may not work for you at another point. So one of the things I also noticed today is that very windy, so things were kind of swirling around. Right away it makes me think of 555, winds of change, right? So maybe what used to work for you, like, how whatever, maybe it's time to change some things up to have that fresh energy, right? That to allow that in, to release what is no longer serving you, right? Because like it was a new book, and so there was new energy that needed to come in, right? In that example. Okay, and then we're going to go to a deck called Gateway Oracle. Just want to see how we're doing. We're at 22 minutes. I'm going to go ahead, take a couple of these, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, what we have is breaking barriers. I am expanding beyond limitations into joy and freedom. How interesting with that card that came up, right? I'm expanding beyond limitations into joy and freedom. So look at that branch there. See the sun shining on it? What used to be, it didn't have new growth, now does, right? The sun is shining on it. There is hope. This is renewal, right? And that falls under the Love card, and I have goosebumps again, and the Queen of Summer card. I'm expanding beyond limitations into joy and freedom. Once again, under the Trust and Faith and the Happy Family card, we have exceeding expectations. I soar into excellence. So this situation, having trust and faith, things do step into this place of excellence. What I notice is that the first card had the leaves, and then we also have the leaves growing up on each side here. Okay, one just fell out. Oh my gosh, we have it again. This looks like olive branches again, and it says expecting miracles. This falls under the Asia and the Ace of Spring, the new beginning, right? And creativity. The new opportunity presents itself. So again, expect miracles. Miracles are blossoming in my life. All right, what else do we have here under the Mother and the Nine of Summer? Wishes being fulfilled. We have planting seeds, right? Seeds of grace are being planted into the fertile soil of my soul, right? Seeds of grace. How beautiful is that? Again, what does that say? Wishes are being fulfilled. Ooh, I have goosebumps. Could be in the area of motherhood also. Okay, and what do we have under phobias and Five of Summer? We have launching your journey. Okay, so maybe you've had a fear of travel or something, right? It says, I am an intrepid traveler sailing forth into the universe, saying, I'm no longer going to let hold me back. What once held me back, hold me back anymore. I'm stepping forward. I am an intrepid traveler. I'm going to go ahead and take the next step. I'm going to focus on the fact that I am loved by God, the highest, and who has the highest of intentions for me. I continue to have a positive outlook, which makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties. Maybe you traveled in the past and had a experience, right? But it's like this too will pass, right? It's just like it's part of the journey, right? Actually, that's really interesting because I have this book here that I have open, 8,789 Words of Wisdom, and there was a message that I read here that would have to go with this. Let's see. I want to find it. Let's see. Well, one of them is a change of scenery makes for good health, right? A change of scenery makes for good health. There are many branches to the tree of knowledge, right? As we were talking about trees. And by pursuing any one of our dreams, we can find fulfillment. I'm not sure which one it was, but we'll just let it be with that. Okay, so that is the message for today. Again, remember, every day you decide who you want to be. I want to say thanks for joining me. I hope that you have an amazing day. Take care.